Hi, my name is Minister Ewing, and I'm recording from the island of Grand Bahama in the Bahamas, and I'm doing my first audio video teaching. Yeah, I know many of you don't like to read, and you're probably tired of just getting all of my posts on all of this stuff that I write, and I love to write, obviously. So I know there are some of you that would prefer the video audio instead of all of the written communications. So I've decided to allow this to be one of the venues in which I do my teaching, and I'm sure most of you would appreciate it. So from this day forward, I'm going to have a lot of 5 to 10 minute teachings on various topics that most people would inbox me about to teach on. And today I've decided to teach on curses. Yes, a few days ago I made a post, or I posted something on my Facebook wall as it relates to curses. Now, what is so interesting about curses is that there are so many people that are under a curse and have absolutely no idea about it. So therefore, I'm going to take you into the biblical understanding of a curse. Now, I know you've heard this message probably taught many times before or preached many times before, and you probably still left your church or Bible study or whatever, still trying to figure out whether or not you understood it. Am I really cursed? Blah, blah, blah. So today, I'm going to give you an in-depth but very brief, because it's going to be a series of this, teaching on curses. Now, in order to understand a curse, we must first understand what a blessing is. And in Genesis chapter 1, verses 28, the Bible says that God blessed them. But who is the them that he's speaking of? Adam and Eve. However, when he blessed them, they were able to do something that they obviously couldn't do before. So before I even get into that part, we must first understand that a blessing empowers us to do something that we could not do before. However, a blessing isn't anything physical or anything material. Actually, it's something spiritual that enables us physically to achieve, to possess, and to be successful at things that we could not be before. So, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, God blessed Adam and Eve, a union, and he blessed them to do what? To be fruitful, to multiply, to replenish, and to subdue the earth. And three of those things that he said initially, they're to make one increase, to replenish, to be fruitful, to multiply. The fourth thing he said is to subdue, meaning to restrain, something that is obviously resisting you. Now, a curse is just the opposite to that. When you're cursed, then you are not empowered to achieve things that normal people are doing. For example, somebody's out there right now, and it's difficult for you to get a job. Or even if you get a job, they pay you kibbles and bits. It's difficult to hold down a job. It's difficult to maintain a relationship. All of your relationships are consistent, you know. You would go as far as the engagement, but never get married. Then there's some of you who are having difficulties in your marriage, and you've divorced and you've gone on to another marriage, and you're experiencing the same symptoms. All of these things, anything that you find to be consistent in different relationships can be labeled a curse, if it's something negative, that is. So we want to know today, Kevin, how does these things happen? Well, in order for a curse to happen, the initiation of it has to be a breaking of the law, the precepts, the commandments of God. As a matter of fact, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, it tells us that if we do not hearken, obey, and observe the commandments or the laws of God, it says not only will we bring about a curse upon ourselves, but the curses will overtake us. Now that's interesting, because to overtake means to go ahead of you. So while you're here battling with this curse here, there's a couple more up the road waiting on you, all because you have disobeyed whatever God has asked you to do. So if God says do not lie, do not fornicate, do not commit adultery, do not murder, whenever you break these things, then you are literally activating a curse in your life. Another way that it can happen, your family lineage, mom and papa them, great, super great Grammy them, who were engaged in certain things that was contrary to the laws of God. Therefore, what has happened now, that curse, like God has promised, has now passed on to the third and fourth generation. What happens also is that when you don't recognize it, you become comfortable in something that's oppressing you, keeping you back. So you see yourself doing things that the average person is doing, and it becomes even more arduous for you, more difficult, but very easy for them. Things that are very simple for people to succeed in, you have eternal hell in trying to make ends meet. Now, this is what is so interesting. The Bible tells us in Proverbs that a curse causeless cannot come. Now, what does this mean? There has to be a reason. There has to be an activation of the law in terms of to invoke a curse upon your life. You could be cursed because of someone that you're connected to. You could be cursed because of some particular item in your home, some statue, some book, or whatever it is. And all of these things give the demonic forces the legal right to come into your life and make life difficult for you. I want to wrap up right here because it's going to be very brief, like I told you. Kevin, I'm cursed. I hear you, Minister Kevin, and that sounds very wonderful. But what happened? I mean, I understand the effects of a curse, but what is actually happening to cause stuff to become difficult? I'm glad that you asked, because a curse is something entirely spiritual. The effects of a curse become physical. What are you talking about, boy? Watch this. Remember the story in Job? The Bible says, God said to Satan, hey, have you checked out my homeboy Job over here, who is perfect in all his ways, who eschews evil, who prays for his kids? This is what the Bible telling him. Satan, now remember now, Satan and God are two spiritual beings. They're not physical. I need you to get this because we're going somewhere here. They're two spiritual beings, meaning now that they can see things on a normal basis in the spirit realm and also in the physical realm. Unlike us, in this physical realm, in this physical body that we have, then God will have to give us that permission to see things in the spirit realm, or we can go through demonic means, witchcraft, voodoo, obeah, roots, all this other stuff, and do it by that means. But Satan gave us a hint as to how a curse can come upon a person. Satan said, look at God, the only reason why Job is serving you is because, listen to this carefully now, you have a hedge around him and his house and all that he has. And I thought about it. What do you mean you have a hedge? I don't see no hedge around Job. There's a spiritual hedge. So God says to him, okay then, you can do whatever you want to do to him, but you cannot kill him. Meaning now, in order for a curse to come upon me, I have to tamper with the spiritual hedge around me that I cannot see. It's there, it's here right now. It's around you in radio land and TV land. Right now it's around you. However, whenever you partake of any sin, consistently, you are literally tampering with that hedge. Once that's open, you're giving the enemy the legal right to come in and to invoke a curse upon you. Therefore, the demonic forces that comes into your life hinders you, delay you, and you procrastinate and you do everything that is contrary to success. I told you it's going to be short, and I'm not going to go any further. But tomorrow, come back here and we're going to have a wonderful time because I'm going to take you even deeper into this curse thing. But let me leave you with this. Any curse that comes about in your life, it has to have your permission. Meaning now, whether you're aware of it or not, some way, somehow, you have to activate it. And the only way that can happen is you have to break the laws of God. Satan and his demonic hosts are just standing by, hoping that you break the law. They're tempting you, they're seducing you to do stuff that is contrary to what God says. And once it's contrary to what God says, then you are giving these demonic forces, the demonic hosts, every opportunity to invade your life. So join me next time, Minister Ewing, Freeport, Bahamas, and we're going to do more of this teaching tomorrow. You have a good evening.